I don't care what people say, bugs are freaking awesome. Hello, and welcome to Nurturing Compassion. I'm Nicole, and here on my channel, I talk about becoming the most compassionate versions of ourselves through our lifestyle choices. So today, I'm going to be talking about bug houses. I'm going to talk a little bit about why bug houses are beneficial, why you might want to have one, and then I am going to demonstrate the process I went through to build this bug house. Bug houses are just a really neat thing to incorporate into any garden, no matter how big or small. They provide a home for insects in specifically the winter months, and it can help protect pollinators as well as other beneficial bugs such as spiders and ladybugs that add a lot of value to your garden by eliminating other pests. By having a bug house, you are ensuring that these insects have a place to go and that it is near your garden so that when spring comes, they'll be able to just hop right in and start doing their thing, and as a result, protecting your garden. Bug houses are actually just really aesthetically pleasing and are just a really neat looking addition to any garden. I first learned about bug houses in 2016 when I saw a group of environmental studies students building them for a class. And I asked about it and they told me, and I was like, whoa, that's super cool. I want to make a bug house. But when I went home for winter break, my dad didn't know much about it, and I just don't think he was super thrilled about the idea of me doing that. Thankfully, when I got to Wild Earth, we had the opportunity to do our own personal projects. First thing that came to my head was, I've always wanted to build a bug house. So this was the perfect opportunity, and I just kind of dove right in, never really having built anything. I mean, I built a ukulele with my dad, and that probably sounds really complicated, but my dad has built a lot of instruments and he was helping me, but this was just going to be me, and I am the type of person who likes to wing things. So this was a big step for me, but I did it, and I think it turned out pretty cool. Let's jump right in. So the first thing that you want to do when you're building your bug house is kind of gather up all the materials that you would need. For me, it was really simple because I was on the farm, so I was basically recycling different scrap wood from our scrap wood pile. So I just collected a bunch of things that I thought would look useful. Then what I did was basically try to create a shape that I liked, and I kind of had a general idea in my mind of how I wanted it to look, and so I started piecing together the wood. Then what I did was I realized that I was going to have to do some sawing, and I actually hand sawed 2 pieces of wood, which was very empowering for me. I had not done that and always had the understanding that sawing was very hard. It's not too bad as soon as you get it going, but if you have access to a power saw and can do it safely, that would probably save you time. After that, I took the pieces of wood and I sanded them. I wanted to make sure that they were super smooth, super clean, because I wanted it to look really pretty. And I also knew that I wanted to paint my bug house simply because I knew it was going to be large and I didn't want it to be constantly having to be put in a shed, put back out. I wanted it to be more stationary, and so painting it sort of protects the wood more from the elements so that it's less likely to rot. So after I sanded the wood, I went ahead and I painted every single board that I was going to be using. After that, I started to actually spray a lacquer on top of the wood so that it would have an additional weather-resistant seal. I did that for all the pieces of wood except for my large one in the middle that had holes in it. Now, I kind of made a mistake. In retrospect, I would say you should do any kind of drilling and stuff like that prior to painting, because I found that I did have to touch up the piece of wood after I had drilled all those holes in it. So what I did next, though, was actually drilled holes into my piece of wood. Then what I did was flip it over and kind of reinforce the holes that were not quite as clean as I wanted them to be because the wood was a little bit cheap and old. So I reinforced those and then I sanded it all down so that everything was flush and nice. I touched up the paint and then I lacquered that as well. Then it was finally time to start building. What I did was I started by drilling holes into where I wanted to hammer the planks together. And then I used special screws that would actually be drilled in most of the way and then hammered in the rest of the way. And so I attached the planks that way. And then I took a break and I actually created a super cute sign to put on top of the bug house. There's all kinds of really fun things that you can do with the sign. Mine says, "Welcome to the Wild Earth Bug Hotel," just because I thought that that was kind of cute. But you can make yours as intricate or as simple as you want. I just had a lot of fun doing that because I love art and like creative stuff. After you have that, you also want to make sure you spray that with the sealing lacquer. After that, I attached my sign to the very top of my flat wood plank, and then I attached some chicken wire that we had, and I wrapped it around and used a staple gun to attach it. The nice thing about that chicken wire is that it allows bugs to sort of crawl in and have a safe space, but it's like protects the bugs from aerial predators. I started taking a bunch of just scrap wood that I could find around, all kinds of logs and twigs, because specifically ladybugs, they really like to burrow in just like big clumps of plant matter. So I piled those up on the bottom, sort of putting larger logs on the bottom and then getting progressively smaller. And then what I did was found some sunflower stalks that we had collected the year before and put those on my top shelf of my bug house. Now, the nice thing about those sunflower stalks is that they either are hollow and they have a hole through the middle that insects can easily crawl in and burrow in, or they have sort of this dried, almost feels like styrofoam in the middle that bugs can also sort of crawl through, and it's a warm space. Now, you don't have to use any of that stuff. I mean, I know that it may not be so easy for everybody to get sunflower stalks, but that's just an example of the things that I did to build my bug house. You can absolutely make them any shape or size that you want. I mean, I've seen ones online that are just like the size of a shoebox. It's so cool because it's such a window for creativity, and it's such a cool, compassionate thing to do for wildlife. I had a really awesome experience building my bug house, and it was also just really empowering to know that I built that by myself, and it was a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I was still really proud of it, and the bugs won't care, so that's all that really matters, right? But yes, that is my tutorial on how to make a bug house. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and please check out some of my other Wild Earth series videos if you're interested in the farm or animal sanctuaries or some other cool practices that we did there. Have you ever built a bug house, and how big was yours? Let me know in a comment below. I would love to see you next time, so please check me out on Instagram at nurturing_compassion. I post content daily and always let my followers know when there's a new video coming up. So I will see you in our next video, and I hope you have a magical day.